Hello YouTube, Dennis84 here, and I wanted to talk to you about card theft. When I was at my locals on Saturday, it was late in the day, probably around, I would say like 4 o'clock or something like that. A teenager, I don't personally know him. I've only been going back for a couple of weeks now, so I don't know everyone by name. But there's many tables there. It's pretty crowded. I would say roughly around like maybe, 30 people in one area, a very small, confined area. But I mean, we still have fun. But getting back to the story, a person got up, acting very nervous, and he shouted extremely loud in front of the whole room, "Hey yo! Someone took my zombie deck. I put a lot of money into it. Now if you have it, just come forward, or else it's gonna be trouble," or something like that. Now, I felt bad for the guy because somebody took his cards. And I also feel bad that he put a lot of money into his deck by buying like holified cards of cards that came in common versions or rares and stuff like that. And that's kind of what the topic is about today. If you want to pimp out your deck, by all means, pimp it out. But I don't know. Say you have a deck. Like, let's go for Gravekeepers. Say you go for the Gravekeepers deck, and you buy all hollow versions, or, just basically hollow versions of the cards that are already out. Say the card comes, I don't know how much the deck would cost, but say it comes to around $50, okay? Now, would you want to take that $50 deck to a tournament, have a chance of it being lost, and knowing you did it? Or, I know nobody wants to lose their cards, believe me, nobody wants to. But it's just, why would you want to risk losing all your money into those cards and have them getting taken away when you could buy the same card versions that are common, rare, or whatever version they have for cheaper? Granted, they probably won't be as cheaper as some other times, but like the Magic structure deck came out, and they give you, if you just buy like 2 structure decks, hell, even 3, for $30, you'll have your Gravekeepers deck plus some more cards. You'll have like 2 additional Mirror Force, 2 additional Allures, enough cards to trade away for other people or whatnot, or build another side deck. And it only costs you $30. When you would pay like $10 on one card, like $14 on another card, just because it's like the hollow version of the Gravekeeper Spy. I went through this phase at one time back in the day when I was running my Injection Monarch deck. I had to have all the shiny versions. I had the shiny version of Nova Crossouts. I had the shiny Exile Forces and stuff like that. But eventually it just came to me like, hey, you have common versions of Exile Force. You have common versions of Nobleman. And some cards you can't get common versions of, or you can't get different rarities of. Like, just recently in the Gold Series, Zaborg, the Thunder Monarch, came out as a common. Before then, it only came as the super rare, and you had to have it that way. But, we've moved on. Like, even now, my main deck, my Frog Monarch deck, is, it doesn't really focus on shiny. Like, I have 1 Ultimate Rare Treeborn Frog, but that was because I had it. But the other 2 are just 2 regular rares. I could go get Ultimate Rare versions, but I don't want to, just because if anything did happen, I know it's just a rare version, and they're a little cheaper than the regular version. The Caius, just 3 starter Caius versions, no gold versions. The Monster Reborn, I don't even run their Mirror Force, but if I did, I have the common version, but I'm also very careful with my stuff that I wouldn't really fear losing it. A lot of people could say that hey, I'm very careful with it, I'm not going to lose it, but then next time they do something, they lose it. This guy was just, he trusted somebody, and that's the thing. I'm not saying don't trust anybody, but it's your stuff. And unless it's like your brother, or somebody you've known from since you were childhood friends or something like that, you shouldn't just hey, here, hold this $70 deck I have, while I go to the bathroom, something like that. The guy had pockets. Like he was wearing this big jacket, and he had big pockets. He could easily put his deck inside his jacket pocket and walked away. But he left it on the table in a corner somewhere, and shock surprise, somebody took it. I don't know. As I said, if you want to go pimp out your deck, by all means do it. That's just your preference, everything like that. But I just see people going crazy. I'm not gonna point out people online, but I see people who want trades, or hell, even at my local, people go like, I only want this version of the card. Why? Last time I checked, the rare version did the exact same version as the ultra rare version. A friend of mine got this. What was it? I think it was a Gold Series Gale, and he told me he traded a lot of cards for it. And I was like, well, what happened to your regular Gale, the rare version? He goes, oh, this one's shiny. I said, so what else does it do? He goes, what do you mean? I said, well, it must do something special, right? I mean, you had to trade all those cards just to get the gold version of it. So what does this version do that the rare version doesn't do? Does it also, jack him up by half the attack or something like that? It doesn't do anything different. It's just shiny. That's it. I'm not gonna frown. This is just a rant I'm talking about. I see too many people just wanting rarity. I need to have this ultimate rare. I need to have this gold version. Why? I built an Amazonas deck, which I haven't posted yet, but I built an Amazonas deck. I have 2 of the ultra rares from Magician's Force because I had them, and I bought a Gold Series Amazonas Master just because I didn't have a third one and I wanted a third one. It would have cost more to get the Amazonas from Magician's Force. I was like, well, I'm just going to go cheaper and get the other one. Why? It does the exact same thing. No one needs to have their deck pimped out. No one needs to have their deck ultimate rares and super rares and all that rares. It's funny to me. My Gravekeeper deck. It's basically the American one. I mean, I have cards from my Verona Guardian. I have one Chief in there from my Verona Guardian, and my Gravekeepers, and basically my monsters are from the Gravekeepers for the Descendant, and my Visionary, which I just because I didn't want to bother going through my binder getting my Hollow Visionary out. Why? I don't need to. It does the exact same thing. If you don't agree with me, by all means, you don't agree with me. I can't change your mind, but I don't like seeing bad things happen to people, and they do all this stuff to focus on getting all these pimped out cards. If you're going for a collection that you're going to keep away, by all means, do that then. But if you see my binders where I have a lot of cards from previous sets that are complete sets, and the only reason I would go after those cards again is because I would need them for complete sets, not for my deck. Kind of rambling, I know, but that's a discussion I just wanted to bring up. It could be silly. It's just my thought, but just after seeing that guy, he was almost crying, and I felt so bad for this guy. I don't know if anyone ever found out who took his deck box because I had to go a while after that, but it's just I couldn't fathom that happening to me, just because I carried my stuff in a bag, I don't know, kind of like a side bag, like a duffel bag, I guess, in a way. I don't know how to sure what it is. It folds down from the top, and it's got an arm strap. But I keep the folded side against my body at all times, so nobody can just run against me, open my bag up, and take something. I'm very careful. When I'm dueling, I wrap my leg around the bag, so no one can take it from underneath me. I'm very careful with my stuff. I double check. Before I go anywhere, if I'm about to head somewhere else, I'll double check, make sure I have, if I bring 10 decks with me, I make sure I have 10 decks in my bag. If I carry my trade binder, I make sure I put my trade binder away. I don't want to lose anything. I know a lot of people don't, and I've been seeing a couple of people on some videos. I can't remember some of the person's name, but he ran a video saying that he lost a synchro he traded. He lost a couple cards he traded just because someone snatched him out of his trade binder. Which is another thing. You got to make sure when you go into a locals or to a tournament and someone's using a trade, make sure you always have contact of your binder. Make sure people don't put them in their hands. Make sure it's on a table and you can see their hands while they're turning the page and everything like that. Like, I mean, gratefully, I've never lost anything, and I'm thankful for that. I think just because I've been super careful in everything. I mean, if I bought the card, I'm not gonna lose it. I've spent too much money on this game, and I'm not gonna lose anything. I sometimes don't even like trading, just because it's like, well, I spent money on this card, but I really need it. So I mean, that's the whole point of the game: just trade to get better stuff. I don't know, but I mean that just kind of brings me back to my beginning rant. If you agree, please leave a comment that common versions or rare versions that have ultimates or ultra rare versions, you don't need them, you just want them, but you run a greater chance of, if you lose them, it's more suffering. It's like my friend quit Yu-Gi-Oh! He ran a black feather deck, a black wing deck. He quit Yu-Gi-Oh! He sold everything he had. I mean, everything. He had almost well, he quit. He didn't collect as much as I did, but he was in the beginning, but he sold those cards and he started getting back into the game. And then he was just kind of collecting for his deck, but he still had a huge collection of cards. But he sold everything because he was having a kid, and he figured Yu-Gi-Oh! Was going to get in the way. And we kind of lost in touch, but we met up again, and we started dueling, and I let him borrow, I made a deck for him with proxies. I don't have all the Black Feather Synchros. And he was like, you know what? He's like, it was super fun dueling again, and I want to get back into it. I'm like, well, dude, you don't have to go all pimped out like he used to. Like, he did that. He bought ultimate rare versions of all the cards. He did all this. Like, his deck was worth $100-something just because it was all pimped out. Like, he had ultimate rare first editions of Armor Master, ultimate rare first editions of every other card. And I mean, thankfully nothing happened. But when I told him, I was like, dude, hey, eventually, I don't know if it's true or not, but I've seen pictures for a Crow structure duelist pack that, hey, there's gonna be a Crow duelist pack, and if anything, Armor Master is probably gonna be like ultra rare or super rare, but he'll come down in price. You'll get everything that is made for Black Feathers in that base. So you'll get cards for the Black Feathers, all the trap cards, everything like that. You'll get them in the duelist pack, and which means you just got to buy a box, probably like a $40 or $50 box, and you'll basically get everything you need for the deck. And then just drop an extra $10 for an Allure and Mirror Force for the Mirror Restriction deck, and there you go, Bob's your uncle. So he kind of heeded my words, and he met another local area that we've known for a while, and the guy cut him a deal, and he basically got a Black Feather deck, a very cheap version, just common. Like, he doesn't have 3 super rare Shiras, he just has 3 common versions, and he told me he couldn't be happier just because he got his old deck back, and he doesn't need all the expensive things. I don't know, it's just, I don't want, as I said, I don't want to see anything bad happen to anybody. So, if you're going to go for a deck, just think about it that if you're super careful, by all means, go all tricked out, pimp your deck out, show off your cards. But if you just want to play and you're in an area that you know people steal and stuff like that, and you can't always keep your eye on everything, don't bring your best deck. Bring a common version or a rare version of it. I just don't want to see anything bad. So it's just a word of warning to everyone. Just keep your stuff with you at all times. Never lose your sight off it. Another quick story is, my friend, we went to a sneak preview of the Crossroad to Chaos, and he had an Archfiend deck. It's kind of a funny and sad story at the same time. I'm just going to have time to fish this in. He lost his deck because he had it on the table. He turned his back and somebody took it. He eventually found the deck box, and he was running, as I said, he was running Archfiend, so the whole roll dice Archfiend type. And here's the funny part of the story. He had a Hollow Mirror Force from Metal Raiders, and he pulled the Puppet Master from from the set as a from one of his packs. They took his new cards and his Mirror Force and left his deck for him. All the Archfiend cards, everything in it. We're grateful that the people didn't take all of his cards, but it's funny because they're saying who runs Archfiends? They're not worth taking, so they left the Archfiends behind, and the deck box and the sleeves. And they just took the Mirror Force and the new cards out. So we all kind of laughed, but we still felt bad because he lost his Mirror Force. But now that there's a common version, he got his Mirror Force back and he's happy. So leave a comment, please rate, subscribe, comment, and just let me know what you guys think. All right, I really appreciate the input. I will talk to you later. Denland CD4 signing out.